Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Next part, when it comes to role-based security group, a role-based security works on organization level. Now, what do you understand or what do you mean by organization level? To create a group, I'll tell you the first step is not to create a group. The first step will be to create a role. That role will have the access. No, again, don't get confused. I have not shown you the process. But if you're asking about the process, the first thing is the role has to be created. Then you create a role-based security group, correct? And then you assign the permissions to the role-based security group. This is the process. But now I'm not talking on that. What I'm trying to tell you is a role-based security group works on organization level. And what is this organization level? Different department. Different department, that's fine. Anything else? Apart from departments, you use the Workday terminology. What do we have as a department in Workday? Supervisory organization. Supervisory organization. Organization level means different departments and department. Here it's supervisory organization. Absolutely correct. What about others? I give you example in the beginning of an accountant. What is the accountant's role? What would an accountant do? Manage financial data. Financial transactions or data, and how will they get access to that? Through sector. They will need a cost center data. They will need various hundred. They will only need cost center data. Where is the finance captured? Finance details are captured in cost center. Cost center. That's what we learned. But we create cost centers because our data is captured in that. Correct. If our data is captured in a cost center, then we can't do anything. We will have to give the access of the cost centers to the accountant. Then only they will be able to perform their day-to-day activity. What is a cost center? It is a predefined organization. According to the roles and responsibilities, guys, you need to ensure you are only giving that access which is required. If you are giving access of supervisory organization to an accountant, then that is a wrong assignation. You cannot do it. They will be able to make the changes in the supervisory organization. Are they allowed to do it? You have to be very specific when you have to give the permissions. And as I stated, you are giving a permissions on the roles. Basically, what is that person going to do in the organization? As per that, you will give the options to perform only on the organization level. Your role is enabled for organization, whether it is predefined, custom or supervisory. It does not matter, but a role will be assigned on that. Does it make sense? You see this option role-based security group. It works on organization level. Now, what are the organizations? I have predefined organization, region, cost center, location, company and their hierarchy, custom organization, and supervisory organizations. If I have to create a role, I will have to mention that I am creating this role for which type of organization. That is what you have to remember. Now someone asked me that, what is the process? How do we go ahead and create a role or a security group? The first step is, if I have to create a role-based security group, I have to go ahead and first of all create a role. We'll come to the user-based security group in some time, but let's first understand the role-based security group. See, it's create a security group which will have the HR partner permissions which will be there. Access to compensation personal information. Now what will happen? The role-based security group is applied on an organization level. Now there are steps. We have to remember that. The first step is when we have to create a role-based security group, we'll have to first of all create a role. Then we will create a role-based security group. The third step is assign the role to that security group, and then you assign the permissions to that security group. Clear to everybody? Do you want me to configure it today, or do you want me to basically explain your user-based security group also and then configure it? How do you want to go ahead? But it's completely complete, I guess. It will be clear or no? Anyways, I have to start both. That's the reason I'm asking you, because we are left with hardly 10 minutes. If I start the configuration of role-based security group, it will not finish in 10 minutes. It will take approximately 20-25 minutes. Better to explain about user-based security group. Let's understand the user-based security group, and then tomorrow, when we meet, we will again, start with role-based only. Guys, we understood. The role-based security groups works on organization level. Now, organization level could be anything predefined, custom or supervisory. You have to define the organization where my role is going to perform that activity. If you have defined it correctly, then there will be no challenges. Absolutely everything will be smooth. If the permissions are defined wrong, there could be a lot of escalations. Imagine that someone is able to change the compensation data for other employees. What will happen? Someone can lose the job. These are very sensitive changes that we do. We have to be very much sure what are we doing. Then comes the next option, which is user-based security group. Now this has more powers. User-based security group works on tenant level. Now you saw that a rule-based security group works on organization level. You have to define that this role is only restricted to this particular organization, whether it is company cost center, region supervisory organization, whatever it is. But when you create a user-based security group, a user-based security group works on tenant level. Now, what do you mean by tenant level? What does this word tenant, understands you? You know what comes in your mind when you think of this word tenant? Tenant, I think of application. Subscription. Tenant basically means the complete application. The Workday system. Which means you're not restricted to one organization. You are free to move anywhere on that tenant. Like the way we are moving. I'm able to create supervisory organization also. I'm able to go ahead and make the changes in the permissions also. I'm able to create compensation also. All these things we are able to do. which means my permissions are user-based permissions. It works on tenant level. Now I can go ahead and see any data which I am supposed to see. But there will be restrictions there also that I cannot go ahead and see anybody's personal data. It will be basically masked. There are options in Workday. You know what do people do in their organization? They mask the data. You would have seen that. When you look into somebody's bank account details, you may only see the last 3 digits. Other things are, star star, star star star. Those things are also done in the organization just to make sure that the security is not violated and it is not done directly on the Workday. You get certain extra tools which the company buys to perform those activities. That is basically called a kind of masking. When a user-based security group is created, it works on tenant level. Anybody who is assigned with a user-based security group, which means that person knows everything in Workday generally. Otherwise, you will not get a user-based security group. You will only get a role-based security group. Even the developers get a role-based security group. The Workday consultants. They are also not given user-based security group. Because you cannot go into every place. Sometimes you have seen that we are also restricted. Like I was not getting the permission to move workers when we were going into the reorganization. Do you remember? Because not everything has been given to me also. Then there are certain restrictions. In the user-based security group also, I can restrict people only through that way by which I can assign the permission. But if a user-based security group is assigned, they are more powerful. They are way more powerful than anybody who has got a role-based security group. I will tell you, when I say user-based security group, it works on tenant level. Now, when I say tenant level, somebody who can make the changes inside the tenant, who can make the setup changes, who can go ahead and move into any part of the tenant. Like what we are doing now, I am able to create compensation also. I am able to create organizations also. I am able to create job profiles also. But I still have restrictions. I cannot make changes everywhere, which means my user group may be my security group which has been assigned. They also have a user-based security group, but they have not given the complete access. The complete access is given only to security administrators, guys. Somebody who knows Workday in and out, somebody who can fix issues in case nobody is able to do it. Those are very specific people, and you will not have 2 to 3 or 2 or 3 security administrators in an organization. You will not have a huge number of security administrators. Now, in a way you can understand that when you work in an organization. Let's say your laptop that you have been, that have been assigned to you from the organization. What happens in that your system crashes? Let's say your Microsoft Office is not working anymore. What would you do? You need to contact the admin like IT, the IT head desk or admin head desk who is going to take care of that. What do they do? They will come to you if you're in office. If you're not in office, they will ask, can you give me a remote access to your system? And what they will do? They will log in as their employee. They will log in as a success system administrator and they will go ahead and install the application and it will start working fine. And they will say, is there anything else I can help you with? You said, no, they disconnect and they go away. They will not even ask you for your username and password. Correct how? How are they controlling it? They are controlling it to their permissions because they are the administrators who have access to each and every system of the company. Similarly, this user-based security group is also like that. If you are assigning somebody a user-based security group, like I'm using proxy, you have seen that sometimes I use Logan, sometimes I work as Adam, sometimes as Steve. Because I have that permission. The same thing is given to you also. These permissions are only way by which you can make the changes, and that's the reason it is given to everybody the way they want to use it. And that's the reason user-based security groups are more powerful, because it is not restricted to a particular organization, but it is on the tenant. You got it. Now is the time to define. You know how we go ahead and define both the security groups. User-based is very simple. You just have to create the user base, and then you have to make sure that it is administered by somebody, because if you don't make it administered by somebody, that means that person is the most powerful person in the work data and they can make any changes and you cannot control it. Also, are you getting the point? We will see how to control that and how do we create a role-based security. But for that purpose, first of all, I'll have to create a role. Now we have got 4 minutes and I'll just explain you the steps. Guys, to create a role, there is a task called maintain assignable role. And there are 3 mandatory things that we have to do there. Whatever role you are creating, you have to put the name of the role. Let's say I'm creating an AR executive role. As per the role, what will HR executive do? You have to think. Tell me, what will HR executive do? HR executive will do all activities related, like from recruitment to exit. I mean hire to hire. You are saying where are these activities done? Which is that organization where it will be done? Because you have to think about the organization there. Where is that organization? Which is the organization where you will perform this kind of activities? Our department. No, HR department is where they will be joining, but their day-to-day activity will be defined to some organization. Yes. Which is that organization? Which is the type of organization? I'm not saying department. Which is the type? You have to tell me the type. It could be IT, it could be any organization. That is IT. That is the name of the department. But if you have to use the Workday terminology for the department, what will that be? Really, from organization. Supervisor. Supervisory organization, guys. That is what I need to know. If you are giving a permission to HR executive, you will give the permission of supervisory organization. They will be able to create a position in the supervisory organization. They will be able to hire somebody in a supervisory organization. They will be able to terminate somebody. What does that mean? I am going to give the permission of a supervisory, but all the supervisory organizations. And then, wherever you are going to assign that HR, they will be limited to that supervisory. It's not that they will be, moving ahead in all the supervisory organizations. No. That is where you have to identify the type of organization which you will be assigning it. And then who can assign these roles? Because you are creating a role, you need to have that person also. Who will be assigning these roles? By default, what we do is we put security group there as security administrator, because any changes you're doing in the security, it has to be done by security administrator only. You cannot do it by yourself. That is also important to understand. Guys, I'll not take much of your time now. It is all about the configuration. Hopefully tomorrow we will be able to complete the configuration also. Then, for today, I think we can conclude it. But hopefully tomorrow we will be able to wrap up the security, which is your data security. Action security still is there. We will not be able to complete it in just one day. It will take some time. If you have understood data security, action security will take a hardly 30 minutes. Not even that, maybe 15, 20 minutes itself, because the process is same. I will be taking your leave now. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.